Rosie, this is so important to understand. With the story, suffering. Without the story, no suffering. So how can your mother's death be the problem? How can your mother's death be the cause of your suffering? It's what you were believing about her, about your father, about you, that created, all the suffering for that little girl. Because she's sitting at the table, other than what she's believing, she's fine. Okay, it's just good to know what creates the suffering. That, it wasn't my mother's death that created the suffering. It's what I was believing. So, your mother died. Turn it around.
My mother didn't die.
Okay, so give me an example of how she lives.
In who I am.
And more specifically?
In my love of theater and my desire to perform and my, charisma and my physical face, which looked like hers, and my,
I do.
My children and the way I parent in some ways. And,
yeah. And your genetics. I mean, you talked about those too, but yeah. And also, as we talk about her, you see an image of her?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what does that image look like? What's she doing?
Cleaning, usually.
Yeah. That's yours. It's a visit.
Right.
People see those images and then they become very sad. And without your story, there's your mom. She's cleaning. She is, look at her.
Right.
If you're in the kitchen and your mom's in the bedroom, she exists only in your mind anyway.
Right. Right.
So nothing shifted other than, what you're witnessing now. That's the creator of all the suffering. So my mother died. Can you find another turnaround?
I died?
Yeah, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole life. Just, you look at what you were believing and it just, everything was there. When you consider what you were believing, chaos.
Right. Chaos.
Inside of you.
And it's funny, I never connected the screaming with Archie to the screaming of her death.
Wasn't even, he was believing his thoughts. Screams came out. And to a little 10-year-old girl, death must be something horrible has happened. And little 10-year-old girls, they can't discern. They hear those screams and they just don't. We can die in our 90s and that's still running in us until we go back and we question what we were believing. It just doesn't shift. Until that little girl finds her way, this grown woman can't find her way. We stay 10 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old. What we're believing at that time, until it's identified and questioned, we live out of that terrified, immature mind. A mature mind is a fearless mind.
A mature mind?
A mature mind.
Is a fearless mind. Yeah.
It's a state of love, that term that you used earlier, unconditional love. So, mothers, life has a right to die without us, Sadness is a tantrum.
Huh. That's a good one.
All sadness.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's it's a minor tantrum.
Yeah.
But
an internal tantrum.
It's a tantrum. It is, and it goes, sadness, and then it goes from sadness to anger and all, But we look at sadness like it's a kind thing. But I say what I love about separate bodies is when you hurt, I don't, and I love that. It's just not my turn. And what I also love about it is when I hurt, you don't.
Right.
But when we project, when like Archie screams, you projected that as pain. It's like your story of what that scream meant, and you can find it when you get still with it and do a worksheet on it. But the meaning you placed on that scream, oh my gosh, you're still living.
Right.
And so oh my goodness, that all suffering is self-inflicted. All, without exception. But the ego is like this, I'm... Okay, and shifting a little, it's like in this world we've been taught, like, if I don't suffer, it means I don't care. Like if something happens to you, if I really love you, if I really care, then I suffer.
I will be in pain with you. Right.
And it's nothing more than I project what you must be feeling, and then I feel that projection, like, oh, what if that happened to me? And it's, it may not even be that thinking that is that lucid, but that's what it is. It's like we project what that would feel like, and we feel it. We say, oh, I feel you're suffering. No, we don't. We feel our mind, what we're imagining, we create, and it has nothing to do with your suffering. It's my own projection.
And is it a projection of a pre-existing time or is it imagining into the future? It could be either or.
It's
past.
It's past, and yeah, it can be either or. But I have to know what it is to, let's say, like if you cut your hand. I have had a cut somewhere, so I project what that feels like onto you, but it's my projection that I'm experiencing, and I say, oh, I feel your pain. No, I don't. I'm projecting. And it's so important for people to hear this, because it's such good news that it shows us clearly we're the projector of the creator of all of our suffering.
And you can choose to not. If you're gonna do that sort of projected transference of, oh, I feel your pain, like that's an active choice you're making. You don't have to do it.
Well, you have to until you're awake to it.
Until you question it. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But once you question it, you're awake. You're awake to it. Like if you hurt yourself and I feel pain, it's like, oh, that's illegitimate. That's your pain. But if I project it, and meaning I haven't done inquiry on it, and I think, oh my gosh, you poor thing, oh, you poor thing. Like, now there are two of us that are
suffering,
hurt.
right.
Two of us suffering, and one of us is legitimately hurt.
Right, but that's their business. Your business, their business, God's business. Right?
And my business is, how can I help?
How can I help?
How can I help? But if I'm so busy suffering because you're suffering, I'm not a great help. We can accomplish a lot out of fear, but they look like oil spills.
And on the whole, it's not working so well for us.
It doesn't work. I love what's going on in the world. People are really waking up.
Do you imagine that this will be what you will just continue to do? This is almost like, I don't want to say a calling because it sounds almost not important enough, but you're it, right? Somehow you're it. This
is how I see. This is how I see. So there's no chance of me not seeing what I see, as long as this apparent existence is going on. And I tell you truly, Rosie, it is worth living just to witness one human being waking up to their true nature, to themselves, because that is that part of me still asleep, and it's not done until it's done. So, it's like I can only exist as another's projection. Without that, there's no life. And that's how it is.
Yeah, you're pretty amazing, Byron Katie.
Well, I'm describing everyone.
I understand. And when you said the great thing about somebody says, I love you, you think, great, because that means you love yourself.
Yeah.
Right, or when somebody comes in and says, I really think you're a piece of crap, I'm so sorry for you.
Mm-hmm. and it's going on inside. It's nothing you say out loud. It's just like, oh, I hope you do better.
You hope you do better.
Yeah. The man that said he was going to kill me and he put the gun in my stomach, and he says, I'm going to blankety blank pull the trigger, I'm going to kill you.
I didn't know this story. Was that on YouTube? Did I miss this?
And in my mind, I was looking into his eyes, and I know if I believed about me what he believed about me, I'd want to kill me too. It's just that simple.
When did this happen?
But, oh gosh, I don't know, like several years ago. And
obviously he did not.
He did not. And, but looking into his eyes, my thought was, oh, sweetheart, I hope you don't do that to you. Because we cannot think or do toward another human being anything against our heart without this wonderful gift of emotions happening. It's like a little temple bell reminding us, and it's like, sweetheart, what are you thinking? Identify it, work it, wake you up, because no one else can do it.
The peace that you exist in is intoxicating and something to strive for.
Well, it takes stillness and an open mind.
And how nice to know it's possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, how nice to know in the physical presence of you being here to go, wow, that's possible for her. That's probably possible for me.
Yeah. It's like, I watch people I'm working with, and I think if they can do that, we can do it. They are, those people on YouTube that we watch, they are our possibility, and we're unlimited.
I know. I love when you turn to the crowd and say, is this familiar? Does this ring true to anybody? Because this is all for you, too. This is not just for her, right? It's all for everyone. Okay, well, I love you, Katie, Byron Katie. How did Byron Katie, is that a family name, Byron?
Yeah, there was a relative that told my mother if she named her next child after her name was Byron, that she would leave money for college education. And so my mother did, and she did.
And the woman did. Mm-hmm. So Byron Katie it is.
Yeah.
And did you go to college?
I flunked just about everything.
Yeah.
I tried, and I was just too confused.
You gave it your best shot.
I did, and it just, our path. We all have our path, and it's the right one.
Yeah. Stick to it. Thank you so much for coming here.
You are welcome.
I would like to stay in touch.
I would love to.
I would like for you to be on my program. I'm doing a show for Oprah's network, similar to my old show, but with a little more of like a Oprah Donahue kind of slant. Single topics for an hour, helping, right? Myself mostly.
Yeah.
and
how
others.
could it be anything else?
Yeah, to serve, as you said, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's your yes, and that's quite a step when you look at the fact that you don't have to. It's just all about service, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in some ways, for me, to be around that group of people, including you, the Oprah kind of, I usually sing in my head, one of these things is not like the other. Mm-hmm. One of these things doesn't belong. That's what I do to myself. In the presence of those who I am surrounded by, I think, well, I'm not worthy. Maybe you are.
Yeah, I would drop the maybe and put I'm not worthy on paper and
do a worksheet
and wake you up to it.
Right, so I'll do that. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Welcome,
That's
Rosie.
what I say. Thank you.
Welcome, Rosie love.
All right, that's the show for today, and now I'm going back online to watch more Byron Katie tapes, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. I recommend you do the same. Peace out.
It's Rosie Radio.
This is your